Hey, I'm Jay Kumar, the BassBlaster, and this is your Abu Garcia REVO Minn Kota Humminbird top 5 tips and trends of the month. Actually, the whole year this time. Number 1.
I've got the fever.
Man, if you're a scoper and you want to win tournaments, you definitely got the depth Sakamata shad fever. Bad. Yep. It's not that other minnows don't work. It's just that the Sakamata shad works better and or the guys have tons of confidence in it. How much confidence? Well, some pros are buying them in quantity. I'm only half kidding. Hey, Sakamata shads are the hardest baits to find in the United States, and because of that, there's kind of a gray market for them.
What are you buying?
At least in the pro ranks. If someone gets a lead on a bunch of Sakamatas and they can buy thousands of dollars of them, they're doing it. Now, the word from top scopers is that the Sakamata shad rolls the best and gets minnow fish to commit the best. Now, the word from depths is that the shape with those wings helps. And by the way, that bait was not designed for pinging a minnow. But the exact plastic or plastics used and how they're distributed in the bait itself apparently is the big secret. Maybe it's all of the above and something else. But the fact is, this year it's been the best minnow in the country by far. That's interesting because we have a lot of good minnows and jig heads that roll now. But a bunch of those have to be worked more than a Sakamata shad, and that will be a difference with finicky fish. Anyhow, if you've got the fever, get a shipping container full of Sakamatas while you can.
You got meadow fever, boy! Meadow fever!
That's right. Don't let it drive you mad, man. Number 2.
Let's go active sonar.
Go active sonar.
Yep, active in this case meaning forward-facing or live sonar. And when the top pros go active, the sonar they pick most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, is Garmin LiveScope. Why? Well, I'd say a few reasons. One is that they like it. Duh. Okay, it might sound that way, but we're talking the top of the top where the mental game is everything. So these guys having confidence in what they're using or fishing is everything. Number 2 is it's been around the longest and has always been a little bit ahead of the other 2 electronics companies' live sonars. In other words, guys have more experience with it. And number 3 is that so far it's just a little bit better overall. But of course, other guys do use other live sonars. Like these 2 guys, they prefer Lowrance Active Target 2. Because they have confidence with it and win with it. Now, they've said they like it partly because Lowrance has had an advantage with being able to see baits way out, Active Target 2, I mean. And this year, Humminbird really upped its forward-facing game with Mega Live 2. In some ways, it actually seems at least as good as Garmin LiveScope and Lowrance Active Target. I've got to mention, too, that after Mega Live 2 came out at the beginning of this year, Humminbird and Minn Kota pros have basically dominated the entire Bassmaster Elite Series. I don't think that's a coincidence.
That's the fact, Jack! That's a fact, Jack!
Watch out for the sonar wars between Garmin, Humminbird, and Lowrance to heat up again next year. Can you say
Artificial intelligence.
yikes? Number 3. All right, along with Sakamata shads and forward-facing sonar, another big trend this year among the top pros is thinner braids. They need them and use them for the long casts that are needed to reach fish that are under pressure. Now, pressured fish means you got to hit them when they're at the edge of the beam, before they feel you or hear you or whatever happens there.
I know you're out there.
And those thinner braids mean you can cast a lot farther. Plus, they cut through the water better. Now, the top thin braids that I've seen on the Pro Tours this year are, in no particular order, Berkeley Forward Braid, Suffix Revolve, and Seaguard JDM PEX8 Braid. Now, a few more thin braids are out there, but those are the top 3 that I hear mentioned at the top pro levels, or at least I did this year. Now, a couple things you have to bear in mind about these thin braided lines, though. First of all, the best knot, according to the manufacturers, is an FG knot, braid to fluoro knot, with extra wraps. That's key so your braid to fluoro knot won't slip. Now, you can use other knots other than the FG, but just make sure, again, you use more wraps than you would normally. Now another thing is to use short, stout fluorocarbon leaders. As the top guys have progressed with forward-facing sonar, the leaders have gotten shorter and stouter. So where a few years ago you would see combinations of like a 8-pound braid to 8 feet of 6-pound fluoro, now it's like 8, 10, or 12-pound braid to just 3 feet of a heavier fluoro, so like a 10, 12, or 14. Or even heavier, which is how you see guys like Kiyoya Fujita do things like this with the spinning rod. How do you hammer hook sets and horse fish in with spinning gear? Well, in that clip, he's fishing with 30-pound braid to 16-pound fluoro. And that's on Lake St. Clair, which is pretty clear water with heavily visual smallmouths. So it depends a little bit on the lake and the conditions. But the bottom line is that the fish are way less sensitive to line size than everybody thought at first, at least when it comes to certain forward-facing sonar techniques.
Oh, don't be so sensitive.
Yeah, the fish aren't, man. Number 4. On the top pro tours, when forward-facing sonar is in play, it is the deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. Hey, was that sarcasm? Anyhow, at this point, everyone should know that when it's big time in play, it's either because of the time of the year, particularly pre-spawn in summer when the fish are offshore, and or the particular water body, and of course whether it's restricted or not by the particular tournament organization, like such. Now what's interesting is that Major League Fishing's BFLs have unrestricted forward-facing sonar use, and yet most of them all year long have been won with regular old bass baits and techniques. Now, if you're not familiar with the BFLs, they're one of the most, if not the most, competitive leagues or trails in the country. And some of the best local and regional fishermen fish them. With that in mind, here's a couple quick stats for you. Number 1, we're in 2-day BFL Super Tournament season, and of the 5 of those tournaments this past weekend, only 1.5 of the winners fished a minnow. Neither guy did it exclusively, and it sounds like only one of those guys was all in on forward-facing sonar, and that was on Pickwick. All right, number 2, the weekend before, just one of the 5 2-day tournament winners pinged a minnow with forward-facing sonar, and that time it was on Watts Bar. Now, that's just 2 weekends, but they're the 2-dayers, where guys would be less likely to just fish shallow the whole time like they could in a 1-dayer. Plus, these tournaments are in the summer when fish can be offshore. Also, I've been watching the BFLs all year long, and it's the same deal. The winners are mostly fishing regular stuff. What baits are they fishing? Yeah, that kind of stuff. So whenever you hear someone say that forward-facing sonar is killing bass fishing, this would be my question.
Where?
Yeah, where? Number 5.
A drifter. A floater.
That's what some say college bass tournaments are like. 200 plus boats of 2-man teams floating around and beaming fish, trying to hit them on the head with a minnow, because forward-facing sonar is allowed 100% of the time on, I believe, all 3 college fishing trails. Now, that's not all they do in every tournament, but it is most of what they do, because they have to do it to be able to compete and win. Now, the guys in AC/DC would say that it's all right, either way, you end up creating a group of guys who are amazing at forward-facing sonar, but with a few exceptions, maybe not so amazing or as amazing with the rest of the whole basket of bass fishing techniques. And that's simply because they don't have to be. Now, whether you like that or not, here's my question.
What is a cat?
No, that's not my question. All right, it's a 3-parter. The first question is it okay that most college bass fishermen mostly fish one technique? Is it okay that they're like offensive linemen and they're only good at one deal? Or should it be more like golf or bass fishing of old where you have to be good at everything? All right, my second question is, will there come a time when forward-facing sonar and that minnow technique is no longer dominant for whatever reason? I mean, if it follows bass fishing history, the answer is yes. If so, then what will happen to those young guys? Their careers, their aspirations, all of it. All right, lastly, if the 2 top pro tours are regulating technology now, forward-facing sonar and whatever technology is coming, shouldn't it be the same all the way down the chain?
Just asking.
I'm just asking. And if you need someone to blame forward-facing sonar on, here you go. It's aliens! Run, peeps! Alright, that's all I got for you this month. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Abu Garcia REVO and Minn Kota Humminbird. See you next month with the top tips and trends. God bless you.